The laws that restrict and protect strippers can seem outlandish to an outsider. Sometimes they even seem outlandish to us. Here's a list of highly dubious and straight out stupid rules that govern strippers working in strip clubs. Laws in lots of regions allow only for air dances. My problem with that is that it's a huge pain in the literal ass, the literal back, and the literal knees. Unlike on stage, you usually don't have a pole to hold on to, and end up in a very long-term squat in stilettos, trying to get as close to the customer as possible. Or there's a rule saying you have to stay a few feet from the customer, and all you can do is shimmy and hope you look sexy and don't fall over. Also in many places, including San Diego and New Orleans, they absolutely mandate that you may not touch your own boobs. Many places also disallow you touching your crotch or your butt. I can kind of see where they're coming from, because this is a clear slippery slope to the freedoms that they have at other places, where girls do penetration shows on stage, or walk around with tails plugged into their butts. It doesn't bother me at all, obviously. But legislators always want to remind themselves that they're in control of the strip club. However, like many people, I touch my chest all the time, even non-sexually. Working in clubs with this rule is maddening. They're my boobs and I want to touch them. Damn you, legislators. In Greenville, South Carolina, everyone has to wear pasties. Actually, in a lot of regions, pasties are required, which is stupid in and of itself. It's bananas to think that covering a square inch or so of skin would make stripping tamer, safer, less sinful, or whatever it was that the legislators thought they were doing. This also happens to be the part of the breast that the men in the audience are rocking too, so I'll never understand what's achieved by this. I bring up South Carolina because in Greenville, the addition of pasties to the stripper wardrobe is particularly stupid. A few years back, a club in the Greenville area was raided, and there were several arrests of girls for doing sex acts in the back, and the person in charge of champagne rooms, the manager, was also arrested. That club stayed closed for a while, and when it reopened, it and all of the surrounding clubs suddenly required pasties. Law enforcement must have thought, aha, no one will want to have sex with them if they can't see the brown part in the center of their boobs. Or maybe it's physically impossible to go down on someone unless your nipples are exposed. Whatever the ridiculous reason, it's still a law there. Speaking of nipple coverage, an old law in Williams County, North Dakota, mandates that nipples, just the pokey bit, not the areola, be covered and sealed with nail polish or latex or something like that. Believe it or not, this is to keep dancers from squirting customers with breast milk, whether or not they've ever had a child or any other reason to produce milk. I have worked with two mothers who pumped breast milk every night in the dressing room so that they could later feed it to their babies. And either one of them would straight up strangle a DA who told them that they had to seal their nipples for an entire shift. For one thing, it's painful. Ohio is against fun too. They've gotten completely rid of nude clubs, required pasties for everyone, and banned any and all touching of the dancer while she's semi-nude, except, and this is a big exception, for a family member. So if your sister is a stripper and you want to come in and give her a hug while she's in her thong and heels, Ohio lawmakers are A-okay with that. And I'm sitting here thinking what exactly that says about Ohio lawmakers. In Texas and many other places, wearing heels is required at all times. Ever seen a group of girls leaving after a few hours at a wedding? Or leaving a dance club after dancing for 3 hours? Chances are you saw several of those girls holding their heels in their hands. Strippers work a minimum of a 6-hour shift in much higher heels. And in many places, they are legally mandated not to take them off. To think that stripper shoes are so important as to be mandatory, and in some places of a mandatory height, suggests that there is maybe some foot fetishes going on in the legislature and courts. At the same time, maybe not. Nobody begs more for you to take your shoes off in the dance room than a guy with a foot fetish. What's going on in your legislative committees, Texas? Washington State has a law against something that I suggested in my stripper heels and thongs video. There, it's illegal to wear clothing that mimics your junk or your boobs. So the flesh-colored thongs that I suggested, which, in dim light, don't look like you're wearing a thong at all, are a big no. So is wearing shirts that look like boobs. I'm really confused about what this law actually does. I guess it's to keep people from walking around pretending to be naked when they're not actually naked. All it makes me think about is those beach shop t-shirts with the woman's naked body in a bikini that's supposed to look like your body when you put it on, as pictured. The Louisiana Senate recently passed a bill that shows that none of them have ever been to strip clubs, despite they've been to strip clubs. And also that they have no idea what women weigh. The law says that strippers may only work between the ages of 21 and 28 and may not weigh more than 160 pounds. As infuriating as this bill is, and as terrible as customers who like bigger girls are going to find it, I would like to take the bill's sponsor, Kenneth E. Harvard, to one of the wonderful clubs on Bourbon Street and have him point out to me which dancers he thinks his bill will stop from working. The best strippers are muscle-bound and weigh way more than they look. And I'm willing to bet he'd find out that dancers over 30 can be gorgeous. Kenneth E. Harvard is an ass who badly needs an education. And so does every single person who voted for his bill. That's it for Dumb Stripper Laws, at least part 1. Do you have any to add? In your club, do you know the law yourself, or do you just know what the manager and owner told you? Leave a comment. I would very much like to make rules for legislators, like that they can only give speeches while wearing stilettos, or that they have to stand 6 feet away from anyone they're trying to get to vote for them. Please like and subscribe.